Hi, my name's Lee Pitcher. I'm General Manager for the Living with Water Partnership, and I'm really pleased to be here at COP26.
Well, the world is spinning behind you, 70% water, we know all about that. So how significant is it for you to be here at COP26?
It's hugely significant. I've worked in the water sector for 20 years. I've seen huge changes. Last 3 years alone, we've seen in Yorkshire 2 near droughts. We've seen at least 5 different named type storms. We've seen 2 thaws, and all of that has huge consequences in terms of the ability to supply water and take it away and recycle it really well.
So what are you hoping to achieve by actually being here today?
So there's so much stuff to just learn in terms of the sharing of knowledge, the stuff that we've done with Living with Water and what we can share as part of the City Water Resilience Framework that we're a part of with Cape Town, Miami and Mexico City and Man in Jordan. But also for me, it's about being able to look and see some of the innovations that are out there, listen to people that are actually doing stuff, because that's what this is about. It needs action. It needs absolute action. So it's an opportunity to learn and get that knowledge exchange.
I've been here nearly 2 weeks now. I was here before the COP started. A lot of talk, emphasis clearly on bringing down carbon emissions. Not so much on resilience, even though we now have the race to resilience, but I've talked to people from Pacific Islands, from low-lying places, and they're feeling the effects now. And they actually have so much in common with the people in Hull and the Humber.
Yeah. So, we know, don't we, that by 2050, I think it's something like more than 65% of the population will live in cities. So resilience is massively important, because what we also know from some of the research that I've seen is that across the world, the biggest shock or stress that can affect a city is water. So too much, too little water, droughts or floods. So, it's quite unbelievable that it's not something that's absolutely at the forefront of everyone's minds at the moment. And if it's not now, it's absolutely going to be. 2 billion people affected by flooding over the last 2 decades. You see the droughts right the way across the world as things heat up. It is something that needs to be right here as a priority and talked about right now and things being done about it.
And irrespective of whether we hit the deadlines here and the targets for the reduction of carbon emissions, I've spoken to the author of the CO2 section of the IPCC report. I've spoken to the World Meteorological Organization. I've spoken to the British Antarctic Survey. Sadly, it's too late to stop the sea levels rising. We might reduce it well into the future, but we are going to have to face greater sea levels, more extreme weather. It's not if, it's more or less when. So there is a big challenge ahead. Absolutely,
yeah. So we're in a period where I foresee we need the fastest accelerated change in the history of humankind. We need to adapt now. And of course we are doing stuff, in Hull and the East Riding. We are doing the Living with Water project that is all about reducing flood risk, but it's also about building that community resilience, because that's needed, because going forwards into the future we are going to have to live with water better or live with water differently. So that does mean understanding how we can cope with seeing it about a lot more and adapting, in terms of our homes, in terms of the areas that we live in. We will see more water on the surface that holds water, that soaks up water. We'll see sponges around the city in terms of how we manage the greenery that we have and the landscapes. But absolutely, we need to act now, because things are happening as we speak.
I know this might be more of an Environment Agency question, but is there a level of sea rise at which point it's going to be difficult to protect?
So it's a great question. So what we see certainly along the Humber and in Hull in particular is a forecast sea level rise up until within the next 100 years of about 1 metre. We can adapt and do things about that. We can look at what we need to do in terms of sustainable urban drainage systems. We can look at some of the more harder defences that we've seen being put up over the last 10, 20 years by the Environment Agency. My view is this is about collaboration. It's about working together. I've seen over the last couple of weeks here at COP some amazing innovation, a lot of it associated with water and what we can do with it. So for me, there is absolutely every opportunity to be able to live and cope with the sea level rise that's expected right now if we put that adaptation in place.
And in terms of the scale of the job going forward, providing COP26 puts in place all the measures to reduce humankind's impact on the climate, I guess the urgent shift is going to be to resilience at future COPs.
Yeah, so the urgent shift is absolutely, it's resilience right now, and that involves everything from actually going into schools and getting that passion that children have, to turn that into jobs and careers in the future, working with the environment, looking at blue-green solutions of the future. It's everything from the physical infrastructure that we can put in place, how we work with nature and land, right the way through to policy as well. How we work with people that are building new homes and houses to develop them in harmony with nature. So yeah, lots that we can do and lots that we need to do right now.
But despite all of that, and there tends to be a lot of doom and gloom, are you energised by what you see and the people you meet here at COP26?
Yeah, do you know what? I couldn't be more energised. And not just people that meet here at COP26, because obviously people that are here want to be here and they want to be talking about climate change. But actually out on the streets, you see it all the time. You see the demonstrations that are occurring. That is about demonstrating passion to make a difference in this world. And we're not talking about tens or hundreds of people, we're talking about thousands, millions of people that want to make a difference. This is about world leaders, this is about our communities, everybody coming together to make that difference.